I'm Danielle, your host of the Abridged to Motherhood podcast, the place where moms like you learn to thrive, not just survive through pregnancy, birth, and postpartum. I'm a birth and postpartum doula and a mom of two who's been where you are. My first pregnancy was filled with so much excitement, but it was also marked by stress, anxiety, and fear of the unknown. I thought I had everything mapped out, but when postpartum hit, I realized how unprepared I was for the physical, emotional, and mental toll of motherhood. It was overwhelming, lonely, and nothing like I imagined. When I found out I was pregnant again, I knew I needed to approach things differently. I made it my mission to not only prepare for postpartum, but to prioritize myself in the process. That shift changed everything. Now I'm here to help you do the same. Whether you're navigating your first pregnancy, feeling buried under endless advice, or struggling to figure out what you actually need for postpartum, this podcast is your safe space. You'll find practical tips, honest conversations, and expert insights to help you feel informed, supported, and empowered through every stage of motherhood. If you're ready to feel confident, prepared, and truly supported in your motherhood journey, stick around. This is for you. Welcome back to the Abridged to Motherhood podcast. I am so excited because this week we have my friend Michelle on, and she is going to talk with us about all things nourishment in pregnancy and postpartum. She is a chef, mother, and doula in training who combines her passion for food and birth work to nourish families through every stage of the motherhood journey, from preconception to postpartum. With over 2 decades of experience as a professional chef, girl knows what she's talking about. Michelle began her culinary career in 2000, traveling the Eastern Seaboard to refine her craft. She eventually settled in St. John's, where she and her husband co-founded Cinched Restaurant and Deli, a beloved culinary destination. Her path to birth work is deeply personal. As a mother of 2 children earthside, she has navigated her own fertility challenges and experienced the profound grief of a high-risk pregnancy loss involving spontaneous identical triplet boys. This journey has shaped her commitment to providing compassionate, non-judgmental support to families and fostering a sense of community through shared stories and peer connections. Michelle values compassion, community, and creating a safe space where families can be heard, supported, and celebrated in their unique journeys. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Michelle. I am so excited for this conversation. It is so important to nourish our bodies well throughout preconception all the way through postpartum. So I'm so excited for our conversation today.
Thank you so much, Danielle. That was an amazing intro. Wow. I'm like, I don't know if I can live up to that.
You absolutely can. You absolutely can. We could talk to Michelle about a lot of things, but on this episode, we're going to kind of focus on meal prepping and how that can help us throughout pregnancy and postpartum specifically. And she'll be able to throw in her doula knowledge in there for us as well. So I kind of want to kick it off with, what do you think are some of the biggest challenges moms face when it comes to meal prep, specifically during pregnancy and postpartum?
I think the biggest problem, honestly, is intimidation. I think for the most part, people, moms in particular, because they're so busy and they have so much going on and they're worried about everybody's schedules and getting to and from work and getting kids to and from places. So it just adds an extra element. And I think that extra element can be really intimidating, especially if you are not comfortable in the kitchen and meal prepping and you don't know what to buy and you don't feel creative and some people don't like eat to sustain life. They don't eat because they love food. So they eat the same thing over and over again, or they grab something quick and like fast food style stuff, which is not necessarily the most nourishing food. I mean, it'll sustain you, but that's about it. And only for so long. So I think that's probably the biggest challenge that most moms face.
Yeah, I know I relate to that, especially the
It's,
quick meal. Even as
yeah.
a first-time mom, I was working multiple jobs while I was pregnant. And so, getting something on the go or a quick snack from home, like, again, not the most nourishing. So,
And we're not great at putting ourselves first as moms.
no.
So it tends to be a back burner thought.
Yeah. And it starts when you're pregnant. Um,
Yeah,
because you're focused on your baby, but taking care of yourself is taking care of your babies.
exactly. Yeah. And if you start it then you can kind of build it up a little bit a little bit at a time as you go through your journey.
Exactly. So let's focus on some solutions now. So if that mom is feeling intimidated, like she's got no time, she doesn't have the energy, right? We're exhausted in pregnancy, we're exhausted postpartum. What's the easiest way for her to still get some kind of quick, nourishing meals on the table?
I mean, it's really kind of take it to the basics, right? So like truthfully, if you're eating fruits and vegetables, you don't even have to cook almost right out of the gate. So that's a really good quick snack kind of option. Dried fruits are all really good, like that kind of stuff that you can kind of eat on the go. It's always nice to have some good recipes, obviously, in your portfolio. Um, pardon me, like from a snack perspective, whether it's like energy bites or granola bars, and those are tend to be relatively easy to make. Oftentimes they look intimidating because they have a lot of ingredients, but overall they're pretty basic. And if you read a recipe and you are totally freaked out by it, move on because there's definitely one down the line. There's so many food blogs out available that there's definitely going to be a recipe down the line that you're going to find that you're going to love. For me, also for like from a quick trying to lower the stress level meal perspective, like even just quick breads that you can kind of make on the weekend or in the evenings if that works for you or on your off time that you can have in the freezer like breakfast muffins and that kind of thing. Stuff to start your day will first off you're getting out of bed, you're eating, you're being healthy and you're not stressed about that meal right out of the gates and that kind of sets you up for success throughout the day.
That is such
Those
good advice to meal prep those breakfasts because, like,
yeah.
and during pregnancy, when you're feeling nauseous, making sure that you're getting that protein in with a complex carb, that combination when you're already feeling morning sick and just having that like readily available, like you said, if you can prep it on the weekend or you can prep it one evening, starting that day off right. And then as you're moving into postpartum and maybe you're nursing, again, you need such high levels of protein during pregnancy and postpartum. So that is
And
such,
those are all ways to really sneak it in. Like you can really pack the protein into like granolas and granola bars and breakfast muffins and those types of things. It's a really good way to sneak those things in right away. And also in your pregnancy, if you are morning sick, you may not want to eat first thing in the morning. So it's good that to have those things available to if you've been up for a couple hours and then you're starting to feel hungry. It's a really good way to sneak it in. Another really good option for mornings, well, for any time really, is like protein shakes and smoothies and stuff. It's a great way to pack in a huge amount of nutrients, protein, carbohydrates, anything that you can, veggies, like getting everything in there. And again, you can batch it and keep it in the fridge for a day or two. And it just needs to kind of be restirred but it's there and ready to go.
love that.
Like I said, it sets the pace for the day in a lot of ways.
hmm So you kind of shared a few quick and easy meal ideas for breakfast and for some snacks. So could you share some for maybe lunches and dinners that maybe require minimal prep but still like really pack that punch nutritionally?
Yeah. So for lunch for me, what I like, I'm big on like chef salad, but I kind of jazz it up a little bit. So I like a chef salad and niçoise salad. I'm even a Caesar salad. You can still add the protein in there. It's things that you can keep in your fridge that last for a bit. Like you know, quinoa bowls, that kind of thing. Like I'm huge on quinoa. I really love it. I put it into a lot of my breakfast stuff as well as my lunch. Because again, it's got those great proteins for you, and you can pretty much do anything with it. Like you can add a bit of dried fruit and some nuts and some cheese, and you've got, like I said, a quinoa salad, or you can go the roasted veggie route, Mediterranean, Asian. You can build any flavors in there. It's sort of a blank canvas, so I like to use that in many ways. Um, like a sort of that's sort of a lunch option that I like a lot. But like I said, I also do a lot of like niçoise and chef salad. So like avocados, tuna, any vegetable at all, like just blanch your veg and throw it in your salad. Those are all, again, easy, quick, batchable items that you can do for lunches. And then when it comes to dinner, and I'm thinking like this works sort of as a pregnant mom right all the way through, because when you're postpartum and nursing, that's for me, that's when it really hit me. Ironically, the old saying, the cobbler's kids have no shoes. Well, as a professional chef, and my husband and I both are professional chefs, pardon me, we had not great eating habits, we'll say, through our non-parent lives. You work long hours, you eat sort of late at night, you don't really tend to pay attention to what you're eating because you're kind of snacking on all your prep throughout the day, doing your taste testing and testing dishes and what have you. So when I got pregnant, I was still working like the whole way through and again around food all the time. And we ate well, but it was not, I mean, we eat well at home, but it's not creative. And I shouldn't say it's not creative. It's probably more creative than most people. It's not creative like at work. Let's put it that way.
Mhm.
Um, but it really shifted in my postpartum because my husband really focused on making sure I was eating properly, knowing that I was not great at putting myself first. But I did nurse both my kids, and I have never felt hunger like I felt hunger in my postpartum, in
Yeah.
my nursing journey. It was like something I just can't imagine not having him there to support me and also knowing the quick fixes but I didn't go into it prepared. And even the second time around, I don't know, like you forget, I guess, but I was a little bit more prepared, I will say. I had a bit more freezer stuff made, but for us, it was, like we were able to kind of pivot on that perspective. But those are the things that like that high protein, high energy food close by is so critical. And again, it comes back full circle in the dinner. You want to have that good solid meal before at the end of the day as well to hold you through the evening. Because like I said, if you are nursing, you're waking up hungry, and it's not a bad thing to have snacks by your bedside if you're a hungry nursing mom, or if you have like late night morning sickness, we'll say, in your early pregnancy. So I'm a huge fan of like soups and stews and like oven meals are well, we use the oven more than we do slow cooker. But a slow cooker meal, they're so like stress free, really convenient, really quick. And again, you can basically put whatever's in your pantry and in your refrigerator into it, flavors that you like, and just let them be happy in the pot for a while.
Love that. Yes. We do a lot of slow cooker meals in my family as well, especially in the winter months. It's just
Yeah,
so easy. Um,
yeah.
so you kind of touched on this. You are very lucky to have a husband who is a chef, but for someone that doesn't have that experience or their partner doesn't like to cook, how can you involve your partner, family, friends to help in that meal prep and make it easier on you? What would you suggest?
So there's a few ways I think that it would be helpful. Especially like if it's something that you don't necessarily enjoy or your partner doesn't enjoy, try to again keep it light. Don't make it stressful. Maybe focus on like two or three items that you guys like to eat at home. And let's just say you're a huge fan of tofu. We'll play around with like two or three different options to use tofu with. Or if you saw something somewhere along the lines or something you had it out at dinner that you kind of want to try to replicate, do a little bit of research, try to make it fun, but keep it simple. Do it together. It might be something that you can involve your other children in if you have other kids at home. Just try to keep it as light as possible and as stress-free as possible. And maybe if you're really, really worried and you want to keep it low cost, if you're worried that you're gonna ruin something, don't start with a fillet.
Right.
If you don't buy a really expensive product to start with, kind of thing. Play around with it that way if that's a stressor, because food can be expensive. Um, and yeah, just try to have a bit of fun, use a bit of salt, because that will always help. And then from a family perspective, um, I think it's really important to, in your postpartum journey, if food is something that stresses you out, whether it's prepping it or finding the time to eat it or what have you, or being averse to some things, express that to your family and friends and really try to get them to help you out and prepare freezer meals um and maybe drop off food. It's such an advantage to just scratch that off the list of things that you don't have to worry about doing at home. Or find a meal service in your community. There might be that option as well.
Yes, and I was going to ask you to talk about that because you have a local meal service in your community. And so I want moms to know that this may be something that's available to them that they haven't thought about. I mean, I think we've all seen commercials for HelloFresh and uh, Factor and all these meal services. And although they may be fantastic for some people, it can be really great to have someone local and that understands what you're going through. And there are a lot of doulas that are starting to offer these meal these meal service plans. So can you talk a little bit about what you do and maybe how a mom would find something locally to her?
Yeah, so that is actually the route that my doula business has gone. So I do in-person birth, um, as well as the meal prep service. So I sort of took both my passions and blended them into one. And I am fortunate in that because of the restaurant and the fact that I've been in the food service industry for so long, I have a team of people who can help me do this. It is not something that would be super easy to get off the ground without a bit of support, not on a large scale, I don't think, unless you had some professional training. So what we do for Nourishing Motherhood is I put out a weekly menu and I allow for like about a 4 day lead time, 5 day lead time for people to order. And then I do the prep. So, because everything is made fresh. And then the meals get either delivered to the um the mom's homes or the clients' homes, or they can do a pickup service because through the Chinched brand, we have a deli as well. So the option is there to do either. We live in a area of Newfoundland and Labrador where, like I said, we're in St. John's, and because of our brand through the restaurant, we're pretty well known. So it's actually grown largely between both my doula work and the restaurant. So now it's become a pretty full-time situation. So yeah, but the whole idea for doing it came from working with my postpartum clients and my doula work and realizing that that is some meal prep in someone's home is something that most people who have postpartum doulas really want. This just takes it out of being happening in your home so that you don't have to worry about the groceries and get a grocery list together or ask your doula to pick up your groceries or whatever that arrangement is. We I provide the full service. So the menu is not a commitment in that you have to get everything or the volume. All the meals are made individually portioned. So you can get one thing or you can get 100 things. It sort of depends on what your needs are and what your family's needs are. So we can feed everybody in your house. And it just is really designed to eliminate that one task off of a mom's list. And it doesn't matter where you are on your postpartum journey. And truthfully, because of, like I said, because of the restaurant and the Changed brand, we're bringing food to lots more than just postpartum moms.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to be able to do it. But it also, where it's the difference sort of between this service and lots of other meal services is that we're bringing you a completely prepared meal with full reheat instructions, unlike sort of a HelloFresh situation where you still have to prepare it. So if it's that element of cooking, if you enjoy the cooking of the prepared food, then HelloFresh would still work and all the other services. But if you just want to throw it in the oven or throw it in the microwave or have like a breakfast wrap in your fridge, or really high impact cookies, that is all there and ready to go.
Yeah, I love that. And I think, like I said, I there are a lot of doulas that are starting to add this as part of their businesses. So I just want to make moms aware that there may be something like this in their local community as well, and to to consider that because like you said, if you're really trying to eliminate the cooking and you don't have the funds for a postpartum doula to come in and help with that in your home, finding that local meal service could be so helpful because it's done for you and you're already budgeting for groceries. So
Exactly.
it's already in the
And it
budget.
avoids cleaning as well. It's basically like you just essentially take it out of the container, and some things you don't even have to reheat.
Love it. I love it so much.
Yeah.
Something I learned with both my babies, and the environmentalists would hate me for this, but we used a lot of paper plates and
Yeah.
plastic forks and spoons during that time and just gave ourselves that permission because it's like ain't nobody got time to be doing a bunch of dishes when you're taking care of a little baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the great thing about most, I will say the great thing about most plastic containers, and I don't know how good this is for our bodies, but most plastic containers now can go in the microwave or the oven and in the dishwasher. So you literally can take your most containers, throw them into the microwave, eat out of it, and then put it in your dishwasher
Perfect.
and
Perfect
reuse it.
for a busy mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's just do two more quick questions. Do you have any time-saving kitchen tools or hacks that if you want to be doing your own meal prep, what does that look like? How can we make it more manageable?
So if you want to do your own meal prep, I think from a tools perspective, a great knife. And if you're a slow cooker family, that is always a great option. Um, and maybe one or two solid cookbooks. Like the internet is great, but you can go down major rabbit holes. If you have a book in hand, it can be much more efficient. You can mix and match some things. I would not necessarily go themed from a like flavor perspective, like maybe don't go all French or pardon me, all Italian, unless that's all you want to eat, and try to get something that's like more well-rounded so you have a bit of variety with your book. And if you are planning on doing like a grocery run, I would say from a time saving perspective, make yourself a really thorough meal plan with a great list of ingredients and try to come up with items that you can replicate ingredients. So like if you like oatmeal and you also want to make granola, maybe that week you buy those ingredients and you double dip. So you're not buying a huge variety of ingredients and you're limiting a little bit. You're limiting and doubling up on some items.
That's such great advice, especially with the way grocery prices are right now. Trying to double up wherever you can is so incredibly helpful. Last question. You have a mom standing in front of you and she's saying, I really want to get started with this meal prep, but I'm feeling so overwhelmed. Can you just tell her, do this one thing right now to get started? What would you tell her?
I get the first thing I would tell her is just it's not as stressful as she thinks it is. I always, and we used to say this even like in the restaurant world, is just food. At the end of the day, it is just food. So take a breath, think about what you like and start there. Start with the basics. Don't overthink it. Don't make it complicated. And try to add one element of change or adaptation every time you, maybe once a week, maybe once a month, within your comfort zone. Just try to sort of hit the next achievement on your cooking journey.
Such good advice. And I love what you said about think about what you like because
Yeah,
we as moms so often forget about what we like. We're always thinking about, what our partner likes to eat, or even when we're thinking about nourishing our bodies through pregnancy and postpartum, and we're considering what the baby needs to grow well. But don't forget, like you can enjoy your food too, and you
yeah,
should. And
you
that
should.
lesson can be applied in all areas of motherhood. So
Exactly. And at the end of the day, maybe not everything you eat every day is going to be 100% about like the right choice, but you got to give yourself some grace and spoil yourself every now and again. On my first pregnancy, every now and again, I would crave McDonald's French fries. I was like, I can't do this. I can't do it. And my husband, every now and again, my husband would be like, just let it happen.
Yes, I craved a double cheeseburger from McDonald's with my son the first
And
like 3 weeks. I don't know why, but that's what
I
I.
don't even eat McDonald's. Like it's not my thing, but I crave salt. And I think that was what it was about McDonald's French fries.
That is so funny. But yeah, I think we can get so hard on ourselves, especially with all the information out there now with food and what's good for your body, what's bad for your body, and learning to give yourself grace through that process of like, okay, if we're doing, 80%, well,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Yeah. So like
Yeah.
let yourself enjoy a little bit, have a little treat. It is okay.
It is okay.
Yeah, let's end on that note, moms. Treat yourself to something great after you listen to this podcast. And Michelle, thank you so much again. Can you tell everyone where to find you and any resources you have?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram. I'm at Nourishing Motherhood ABC, and also on Facebook. Same deal, Nourishing Motherhood.
Love it. And she is, I know, behind the scenes working on her website. So as soon as I get that updated information, I will add that in our show notes as well. So thank you so much again, Michelle. And I hope you all enjoyed this episode. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Abridged to Motherhood podcast. I'm so glad you were here today. If you loved this episode, I'd be so grateful if you could leave a review for the podcast on whatever platform you're listening on, share it with a friend, or snap a screenshot and tag me on social media. If you decide to leave me a review, go to abridgedomotherhood.com/review. That link is also in the show notes so that I can send you a little gift in the mail. Your support helps other moms to find the podcast, and it truly means the world to me. Remember, your motherhood journey deserves your care and attention. Until next time, keep showing up for yourself, mama, and don't worry, I'm here to help every step of the way. See you soon.